that it says on Twitter is that people said Jay-Z versus Drake. Who do y'all think will win in the battle? Can you believe that over 60% said that Drake would win in a battle? So I want to know what your guys' thoughts are. I mean, I saw some of you say that you thought Jay-Z's freestyle was decent. It was okay. Brennan says, what do you think about his freestyle? I mean, this is what I'll say, man. I think that his freestyle was cool, that he said what needed to be addressed and what needed to be said. So I appreciated it from that angle. And some people said like, oh, Jay-Z's too old to go and battle or rap it like, you know, Nicki Minaj and Drake and people that are young enough to be his son or his kids. But it's like, yo, man, sometimes. So I'm not mad at that, man. I'm not mad at that. I feel like he had to do what he did. John says, you say Jay-Z versus Drake doesn't excite you. Yeah, I agree with you. I know. I wish you guys could see this poll right here that we have right here. But if you go to the YouTube, we have it up over there. Yeah, you'll be able to see the poll over there. But yeah, man. Drake versus Jay-Z. Do you guys agree? Overall, if we have to round it off, the numbers look like they're 60-40. Yeah, overall, if we round it off, we're looking at 60-40. Yikes says, is he going to start up a battle right before an album release? That's what it seems like. I mean, even at the Knicks game, like Jay-Z was over at the Knicks game today. So, you know, he definitely seems like he's out here in the public eye. You know, Jay-Z definitely seems like he wants his presence to be known. So, and yo, by the way, if we can get a few more likes in here, that helps the algorithm, helps get more people up in here. So if you guys give some likes, thank you. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. You know what I mean? If you can give the likes, it helps get more people up in here. Thank you. You know, it gets the algorithm going. That's what the algorithm cares about and what we're pushing out there. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for the follow, John. I appreciate you, man. Yeah, man. Yeah. So like I said, we're just kind of discussing hip hop right now. Thank you. Thank you for the likes and thank you for the follow. That's what helps get the people out there. Thank you. All right. So we are talking about the Drake. Well, if there was a battle between Drake and Jay-Z, I was looking at a poll right here on Twitter where people actually voted. How many votes does it have? How many votes does that say? It says, yo, about 7,000, a little over 7,000. So almost, if we just round that off, almost 10,000. So that's a good number of people. Poll presented by Kuroko or Kurko or whatever their name is. Kurko. And I think they got like a rating on Complex as one of the top hip hop media, which I disagree with, but whatever. I guess because they have a huge following, right? How many people are following them? See, this ain't even their real page. And this page has like 500,000. If this is the real page, I don't know. I guess it is. Maybe, yeah, 500,000. I guess that's a lot of followers. But yeah, man. They did this poll where they said Jay-Z versus Drake. Who would win in a rap battle? We'll see. We'll see, right? If it's that. You guys can always tell me your opinion, but it looks like a lot of you guys said that you feel that Drake would win. And yo, thank you for those of you that are just tuning in on YouTube. We're talking about the real hip hop. If you guys can give some likes on YouTube, that helps the stream. Yeah, we're multitasking right now, multi-streaming. And should we talk about the Knicks? Should we talk about maybe they lost today to sell more tickets and to make more money? Could that be a possibility? We'll talk about that in a minute. But yo, thank you for the follow. Okay. Yeah, Yikes Uno says you're good with the fabricated beats for the rollout. Yeah, and the NBA. Yeah, I kind of feel like that too with the NBA. Although the Knicks do look like they're playing with a lot of heart, but I do feel like that with the NBA. But then again, it's like, oh, we see all these celebrities at the game. And it's kind of funny because right now, New York is like, of course, L.A. But L.A. has always been like New York. But, you know, when you see the games in L.A., it's like all the celebrities are out. It's kind of funny how now you see that in New York. But I will say this, though. To go back, yeah, and I'll say this, man. The Knicks need to win it because the last time the Knicks won, and I did the research on this, was when hip-hop was born in New York. So I think it'll be dope for New York, man. Thank you, Dark Hulkage, for the rose. But back to hip-hop. Let's bring it back to hip-hop. Thank you for the rose. Jay-Z, man. If Jay-Z drops this new album, I think that this new project that Jay-Z drops is going to be, it has to be hard. But like some people said that they think that Jay-Z is going to manipulate the system to sell records. Haha, what's the Overlander cars getting flipped once they win? Yeah, it's going to be crazy in New York once they win. Yeah, John says league is extending the series because everybody's tuned in. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. Because the way they were playing, it looks like they were ready to win. But, yeah, I think New York's going to do it. But, yeah, and then Jay-Z. I'm thinking, is Jay-Z? This is what I was thinking, too, on top of that. You know the song with him and Alicia Keys? The New York. Are they going to perform that song? City, you. There's nothing you can do. There's out in New York. You know what I'm saying? Like Alicia Keys and them. I'm wondering, man. If they win like that, or that's got to be like game 4, game 5, the closing out game. If they can win in New York, and they have Jay-Z and Alicia Keys come out and perform. What is it? Empire State of Mind. They perform Empire State of Mind either at the halftime show or before the game. If they do that, that would be big. Good point. Dark Hawkage, you says he won't need to. Yikes Uno says all big acts have fake numbers. That's the biz now. Yeah, that's what it's looking like. It's looking like the numbers do lie. John, you says need Jadakiss. That would be dope too. I love Jadakiss. Yo, did you hear that Jadakiss did a show in Brooklyn just like the other day? Did you hear that? Yeah, Jadakiss just did a show in Brooklyn. So, you know what I mean? Like, Jadakiss has already been out there. He's already been out there and he's already been active. So, but you know what I'm saying? Like, well, it's funny you say that too. As a matter of fact, now that I remember, Jadakiss and Fat Joe, you know, who have their podcasts, they actually, I think, did a segment with the NBA, or where they're doing their podcast. They're filming their podcast at Madison Square Garden. So they're already in there. It kind of goes to show you that if you have people behind you and the city of New York behind you and stuff like that, you can get things done. This is kind of why sometimes I'm like, is it really fair that these guys have their own podcasts, or they have podcasts? Like, now they're trying to be YouTubers, or they're trying to be streamers now. Like, is it really fair for us that are coming up in the space? Because it's like, oh, you know, you're Fat Joe, you're Jadakiss, you're already famous. Everybody already knows you. So, you know, you starting a podcast doesn't really count. But, you know, compared to like the people that are actually out here trying to be YouTubers. So when I see them doing their podcasts, or I see them saying like, oh, we got our podcast, Fat Joe and Jadakiss, I'm just kind of like, that's cool. I respect it, because I've always liked them as rappers. But I've also been like, oh, why y'all trying to be YouTubers now? You say do New York State of Mind. Yeah, what, the Nas? I would play it, but I'm streaming also on YouTube, and if I play the music, sometimes they flag it. But let me see. I can try to see if I can play it in the background. Let me try to pull that up. Mine. Yeah, sometimes because I'm also streaming on YouTube, so it's like if you stream the music, sometimes they flag the video, whatever. But try to see if I can play it in the background, at least like you guys can hear it real quick. You hear it right there, right? Okay. So, good thing we're talking about Nas real quick. A New York State of Mind. Yo, them pianos right there, Premier, on that beat, that's one of Premier's greatest beats of all time. And that's definitely one of the greatest hip hop beats and songs of all time. Like, Nas was definitely like on something on this album. And the crazy thing about this Illmatic, which you can see right here on my wall. See right there? It's kind of hard to see because I got my mic right here. But yeah. The Nas Illmatic. One of the greatest hip-hop albums of all time. No doubt. You see, that's the difference, and I'm glad you brought that up, because that's what makes me think about something. That's what makes me think, man, is that you can't really compare what's going on today in rap music to what was going on back then during the golden era. Like, back then during the golden era was unstoppable. It was untouchable. You know, it was like you couldn't, like MC Hammer, man, you couldn't touch it. And even MC Hammer's stuff was like kind of dope. Like, if you go back and you listen to even like Vanilla Ice, some of his stuff is kind of dope. Some of it. But that's what I'm saying, man, because back then, I think you did have to have some type of a talent. But what I will say, though, is this, is that we can all go back and listen to Nas' album, Illmatic. It doesn't matter which song you listen to on there. I think all of the songs on there are banging. Of course, New York State of Mind, which we just played right there, and which we can continue to play in the background. I just don't want it to get it copyrighted, but you know, whatever. For research purposes, we should play it. Yeah, man. It's interesting because, to tell you the truth, it's one of the greatest beats and one of the greatest songs and rap lyrics of all time. But then when you go back and you listen to Nas's album, it's like, yo, man, that dude was on something, man. How old was he? He was only 19 years old too, right? I think when he did Illmatic, he was only 19. But that's not really that far-fetched, because let me tell you this, man. This is one thing I learned. I'm going to throw this in here because this is a jewel that I think that we don't talk about enough in our schools, in our school systems. You know, the public school system or systems in America. And that is that Alexander the Great, from what I read upon, is that this man was already running an empire by the age of 15. So it kind of makes me go back to think like, man, we baby our generation. Because it's like, if you go back and you look at rappers from the 90s, right? If you go back and you look at rappers from the 90s, a lot of these rappers already look like grown men when they were already like in their 20s. Like, they already look like grown men. Like, even Nas right here. Even this picture, if you can see right here, for those of you that are on the other platforms, I have the picture of Nas right here. We're playing the beat in the background, New York State of Mind. And he looks like a grown man right here. I don't know how old Nas is, but I think he's like 20 something. You look like the 20-year-olds today. They look like kids. But back then, especially like in the 90s and more so the 80s, people in their 20s look like grown adults, man. They already look like grown adults. So I feel like I'm not surprised. That brings me back to like what I was saying earlier about 15-year-olds already ruling empires. If raised correctly and taught with the proper intelligence, people can possibly lead a nation at an early age, is what I'm saying. So I'm not too surprised. I'm not too surprised that you know what I'm saying, that he probably has such a dope album at 19. Spencer, you said you have tried to listen to nowadays rap and they sound like garbage, almost like, yeah. I think it got cut off right there, but I see your quote. Yeah, man, Spencer, if you're still there with us, I definitely agree with you, man. I agree with you, man. If it's just that the music is just also just trash, because it is, and I think a lot of us can agree with that, because that's what a lot of people say. But I think it's also because the record industry has taken over of the music and has made it sound like that. Like, they've made it sound like trash. And you might say, well, why would they do that? Why would they make it sound like trash? Well, they made it sound like trash so they could control it. You know, it's like the video that I played yesterday, and maybe I should play it today for reference, because I see a lot of people in the comment section today. So, yeah, maybe I should pull up, the conference. But it's funny when they say that hip-hop back in the days used to travel from underground tapes, and now it's different. Jack Suno, you said best grade. It's actually beatGrade, but thank you. Yeah, beatGrade, like a music beat. You know what's up. You know what's up. Like if you're playing a beat, BEAT, GRADE, beatGrade. But you said pull up the list, new hip hop. Uh, where no, that's all good. Where do we find the list at? You should just put the list in the comment section and we can go over it. Here, man. Hold on. Check. Yo. Here, man, I'll just bring you on, man. Tell us what your list is. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, you're right. Hold on. Let's go ahead and check out your list, because I know you got some dope stuff. So we'll go ahead and just put that in real quick. Let's go ahead and put that in. Give me a second. Spotify. I'll go to Spotify real quick, and we'll see if we put that in. I'm on my streaming laptop, so I'm not logged into my Spotify account, but hopefully at least I can play a couple of the songs. If you got some music on YouTube as well, that might be a little easier, because sometimes Spotify is kind of crazy unless you logged in. That's why it's always good to hold on. All right, I think I found you. Which song are you looking for us to play? We'll go ahead and play Smith says, I feel what did you say? You said you feel the fear of the future. You fear the future, not gonna lie. All right, Yaxuno, I got you. We'll play whichever the first one is that comes up. Yeah, man. A lot of people in hip hop, man. It's crazy right now, man. It's crazy where it's going. We're gonna see what happens, but yeah, y'all are right, man. Well, you see, and I'll say this real quick before I play some of this, and I'm gonna play it in the background as the background music. But yeah, man, we'll check out some of these mixes. All right. There, yeah, I think I got it right here though. I got it right here. I see it. Once we log in on do some weird shit, but here, let me see if I can find it on the YouTube. I'm pretty sure if you're on Spotify, you got to be on there. What distribution company do you use? But we got you right there. Yeah, what distribution company do you use to put your music out? Because that's pretty dope that you got the mixtapes like that. Hold on. Let's see if we got it. Ugh. Yeah. YouTube Music. Y'all gotta be on YouTube Music if you have what's it called? If you're on Spotify. Hold on, let me just make sure. Are you on YouTube Music? Or is it only on Spotify? Yeah, because it's telling us to log in on this account. And for some reason, It's like not logging us in on the account, which is really weird. But I do see it though, man. You know what? I'm gonna check it out. I'm sure it's dope. Like if you got some stuff, hold on. Let me see if I can find another way. I'll see if I can find another way. But I got Spotify. The good thing is on my other device. Once I get off this stream, I got Spotify on my other device. I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna listen to it for sure. A lot of dope beats and a lot of dope ideas. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I already know that. Wake Up Show and all that. And I remember that back in the days. Like, yeah, I used to work with them. Sway Tech, all them, DJ Revolution, they all were playing like dope ass beats. I mean, that's kind of like where Eminem got on. Eminem got on from the Wake Up Show. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, man, a lot of people came through to Sway. One of the dopest battles I ever saw was with the Wake Up Show. That was Juice versus Supernatural. I'm sure anybody that can go back in time that remembers that battle knows that that battle was like one of the dopest battles that ever happened in hip hop. As a matter of fact, if you watch, and I'm gonna say this real quick, I'm gonna drop a jewel right here. If you watch the movie 8 Mile, right, and you watch the scene where, you know, he's battling Papa Doc and all this stuff, right? In that scene, what happens is exactly pretty much what happened with the battle with Juice and Supernatural. Yeah. The battle with Juice and Supernatural, it went exactly like how the battle with 8 Mile went. And then if you read the credits, for those of you that read the credits, Craig G was the one who wrote the battle. Okay? Like, Eminem didn't even write the battle. He didn't write the battle. Eminem didn't have time to write the battle. He was doing the song, the soundtrack, and he was doing other things. So he had Craig G write the battle. Now, we don't even know. Oh, yeah, I wouldn't doubt it that he was in some of those battle scenes. And the point is that I'm also making on top of this is that Craig G also battled Supernatural a lot. Like, there's a historic battle that you can look up. It's on YouTube. You can look this up, where it's Craig G and Supernatural in a battle. But all I'm saying on top of this is that if you go back and you watch the movie 8 Mile, when you get to the credits, for those of you that like to read the credits, or for those of you that care, should I say, to read the credits, you'll see that at the end it says special thanks to Craig G. It doesn't really say what for or what he did. It just says special thanks. But we know, for those of us that study, we pretty much know what it is that Craig G did. Or for those of us that have the inside scoop. And what that is that he wrote the battle scene. He wrote the battle scene for 8 Mile. Yeah, Yikes, didn't know Craig G helped with that. He was definitely a battle legend. Exactly. That's why. Yeah, go back and watch 8 Mile again. Because, you know, like, I like to go back and I like to read the credits. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I like to read the credits. And that's what we're all about, man. Talking about the realness. But yeah, it says thank you to Craig G. So Craig G, yes, I believe, and a lot of people say, wrote the battle lyrics that were in the movie 8 Mile. When Juice Cruiser was huge, he was considered one of the dopest. Yep, exactly, and he still is. And he also battled a lot of and he battled Supernatural, which is a classic battle that you could see on YouTube. But the other part, and I'm sure Eminem has studied that battle. The other part, though, is the Supernatural and Juice battle. And Juice also battled Eminem and beat him. That's the part I want to make clear. Is that Juice, J.U. Ice from Chicago. Shout out to Juice. I've actually met him and kicked it with him a couple times. He was a cool cat. Yo, Juice beat. You can go look on my YouTube or Twitter. I should put this up on my Twitter. Me chilling with Juice. Because Juice is kind of a legend too. Low key. For those of us that know, Juice, J.U. Ice, and Supernatural. They're both like underground legends. Okay? I've hung out with both of these cats. But it's like, yo, Juice beat Eminem in a battle. Alright? So Juice goes on to battle Supernatural, who also battled Craig G. Who Craig G helped write for 8 Mile. Do you see where I'm going with this? Y'all see where I'm going? There's a lot of history here, man. But I'm telling you right now, you got me going on that Yikes Uno. Shout out to you, man, because I was thinking about Sway and Tech. And I just wanted to show like how much I believe Sway and Tech from the Wake Up Show, how much they played a big part in battle rap culture. Like, I think if it wasn't for them, and Sway's still doing his thing. That's why Sway is on Shade 45, right? If I'm not mistaken, isn't Sway doing his radio show on Eminem's show, Shade 45? Or the Shade Show, right? So, that's my point. Sway is definitely a big part in hip-hop culture as far as having people come on the radio and freestyle, playing dope beats, having dope DJs come on and scratch and do dope mixes and stuff like that, and featuring new rappers, up-and-coming rappers from all over the country, all over the world, but mainly in the United States. And then also, you know, doing interviews, doing big interviews. Like Sway's that dude, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Sway's that dude, man. Yo, Yikes Uno, shout you out, man. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for tuning in, man. We're going to do it again. A little bit earlier, I just jumped on here real quick because, you know, we was thinking about some hip-hop stuff, and I felt like I had to jump up on here. But I appreciate y'all, man. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, man. Sway and Tech, they got shouted out on a lot of songs. So that's all I'm saying, man. That's what's dope, is the real hip-hop. People that are really about the real hip-hop. And Eminem is about the real hip-hop, too. Have you guys heard about Eminem's recording schedule? That he has like a really strict recording schedule, which I'm not mad at. Treat it like a job, right? I mean, at that point, for what he is, it is a job. It is a job for him. Eminem could just go and put out a new album and just make money and buy a new house. He could just say like, oh, you know what? I think I want to buy another house. I'm just going to put out an album. I'll just go rap on a few beats and put that out. And then I'll just buy a house with that. Okay. Life's a trip. You said, what do I think about Houston, Texas hip hop music? Good question. I've always liked it, man. I'm starting to like music around the country. When you say Texas, Houston, is that like AX or Big of the Plug? Is he from out there too? I think he's from out there, right? Big of the Plug or one of them. and I've heard some others. It's cool. It's cool. I mean, I'm a big fan of the Ghetto Boys. The Ghetto Boys, but I mean, that's like 90s. I know. Maybe you're asking me about what's current, but I do love their music. Haha. I can't see your name, to however you pronounce that, Pluvit, but you said P. Diddy destroyed hip-hop. I don't know if P. Diddy really destroyed hip-hop. To be honest with you, if you really want to break it down, I mean, that's a good point, and that's a great point. Let's speak on that real quick. Thank you, Georgia, for the follow. I appreciate you. Let's speak on that real quick. Hip-hop was possibly already destroyed before Diddy got involved, because Diddy came through like early to mid 90s. If I said your name right, Giorgio, you said personally it fell off, but some new records are pretty good. Yeah, some are, exactly. Yo, you said 2000 and up and current. What do you mean by that? Earl77 says, you always like Mace way better than Diddy. Yeah, I think so too. Yo, if you go back and you listen to the 112 song with Mace and Biggie, you know, and I've always thought that Biggie's one of my favorite rappers of all time. But low key, I think that Mace actually has a doper verse on there than Biggie does. You said you think even though Diddy is a bad person, his debut album, No Way Out, you think is pretty good. Well, not just that, but I mean, Diddy also produced a lot of rappers, and he produced a lot of people that came out. AU77 says Diddy was a businessman, not the best rapper. Yeah, I wouldn't even consider Diddy a rapper at all. And let's go to that. Let's pull that up. Yeah, I wouldn't even consider. And by the way, he's about to get out too. Have you heard about that? But yeah, I wouldn't even consider Diddy a rapper. What I consider Diddy is, like you said, a businessman. But he also did play a big part in where the future and the production of hip hop was going to go. Diddy did play a big part in that. And he's about to get out pretty soon. Did you hear about Cassie too? And did you hear about all this other stuff going on with the other girl, Daphne, 50 Cent's baby mother, who was in the Freak-Offs? Yeah, let's go on to that point since we're speaking on some stuff that's going on in hip-hop. How 50 Cent's baby mother has been talking to academics on his stream. Crazy. But that she was also with Diddy. But Cassie, you heard about her. The one that got the 30 million, she took off. Yo, she got the 30 million and she bounced out the country. She was like, I'm out of here. F this. Yeah, it's right here on, and she's getting sued. She's getting sued by one of the ex-escorts, who's a male, saying that he felt like he was the victim. Well, yeah. Giorgio, you said that you liked Diddy's label was good, but every Biggie song, yeah, had Diddy's ad-libs. Yeah, that's true. It did have his ad-libs. But other than that, other than having his ad-libs, you can't say that a lot of the music wasn't decent. Like, I think it was pretty good. I think overall, the music that they were making was pretty good. Like, Biggie's first album was considered pretty much a classic. And he will get out. Most likely, he will get out. And once he gets out, people will probably not care about what he was in there for. Because let's be honest, and let's just speak on this real quick. I don't know if we can really talk about this, but since we're on the subject, I'm going to speak about something real quick. Let me talk about this. Real quick, we're going to say, man, the real reason why Diddy is incarcerated, it's not because of him being a freak. That's what some people say. Some people say, oh, well, he's in jail because he's a freak. Nah. And I'm only going to say this right here on the stream. You guys are lucky to be listening to this because I usually don't say this on video. But I'm going to say this on the stream. If you guys want me to say this on the stream, yeah, give me a few likes. Give me a few likes right here so we can get more people up in here, and I'll say this. I'll drop a jewel right on you guys real quick. And we'll go back to that, whatever happened with Mace being a preacher. Thank you for the likes coming in. So we can get more people up on the stream. You know what I'm saying? All right. Thank you, fam. I appreciate you. Hold on. And I had to grab something else that I had to grab, but thank you. Appreciate it. Yo, thank you. The real reason why Diddy is incarcerated is because of the video that happened with him and Cassie in the hotel. That's the reason. Had the video with him and Cassie never came out, there would he would never be in jail right now. And that is the reason why. Because people saw that, you know what I'm saying? People saw that and they said, oh, they saw that video and they said, yo, you know what? He's got to do some time for that. He's got to do some time for that. That's what they said. But, you know, like we didn't want to have to do a whole Diddy talk. You know what I'm saying? We were just bringing it up real quick. Like, you know, we were just talking about that real quick. I didn't want to do like a whole Diddy talk. Yo, he's about to get out of jail and we're going to see what happens with that. But yes, it is also very interesting that Cassie, the girl that was in the freak offs, has fled the country to Japan, is what they're saying, and she's also being sued. So it's been very interesting. It seems like this is going to be something that's going to go on for a moment. You know what I mean? Illuminati, what up? Shout out, man. You said only thing Diddy was guilty of was being a mook and hitting Cassie. Yeah, I agree with that. That case. But the fact that he had those two things writing on him, that's what happens, man. And also on top of that, he had that video footage of him chasing her down. And like I said, I don't know how much I could really say on the stream. I don't want to say anything bad or get anything flagged. You know what I mean? Absolutely. I completely agree with you, Illuminati. I agree with you. Yo, on YouTube, can we get a few likes? It helps the algorithm. You guys are hooking it up on TikTok. I appreciate y'all. But like YouTube, what's up? We need a few likes, man. It helps the algorithm and gets more people up in here. What's good? Because we had some people like streaming up in here. Hit like over almost 100 people up in here. It's like, come on. Guys got to support a little bit. Thank you. Hold on. Thank you on TikTok, though. I appreciate you. I'm trying to get the YouTube algorithm going here. Let's get the YouTube algorithm going here. But yeah. Back to the scheduled program. You said check out the music and see. All right, well, you can always send your music to the DMs, and I'll check it out. Thank you for the likes coming in, though. Hazit TV, I appreciate you. Yeah, Illuminati says that you believe that Diddy paid for the footage to have it scrubbed. Yeah, I can see that too. Some people said that that's the reason why he had them feds or whoever, them guards, go up in his house. Everything. I mean, this dude had a bunch of people all up in there. You know, he had a bunch of powerful people up on those tapes. JD says there are no good rappers now. I can somewhat agree with that theory, but I did like the Drake album that just came out. I mean, what did you think of that? What did you think of the Drake album, man? The Iceman album, like that wasn't good. I mean, you don't even have to really be a Drake fan. I understand that, but I would say it sounded like a decent album. The new generation isn't producing any good rappers. Yeah, I could see that. Chef T says you think you aged out of hip hop. Ha ha ha. That's what some people say, man. I hear a lot of people say that. And I think that too sometimes, man. But for me, nah, man. I try to still roll with it. Like I always say, man, I believe my generation, Gen X, I guess is what you could call it. I feel like we've inspired this next culture, like the millennials and even all the way to Gen Z. We've inspired them. And they listen to hip hop, rap music. Maybe it's not really hip hop, but they listen to rap music. But we are the ones that are pretty much the creators. Maybe a little bit of a generation before me, but still. When I was listening to rap music and hip hop or growing up with it, it was in its essence. It was like the golden era, you know what I mean? Chief Tef, you said the Iceman is trash. Yeah, I see your point. I don't know if I can say that, man. I don't think the Iceman was trash. I understand if you're not a Drake fan or you don't really like his music. That's cool. That's understandable. But as far as to go to say, oh, the Iceman was trash, I don't know if I can say that, man, because I think that even just listening to the Iceman, in my personal opinion, just listening to the beats alone are dope. Okay? Like, the beats alone on Iceman are just dope. You could take Drake's lyrics off of Iceman. And just the production quality, the rhythms, like even if you go back, I don't know if you guys had a chance to like go and listen to it really on the headphones. You know, like go grab yourself a pair of headphones, you know what I'm saying? And put on some headphones and listen to the music, and it's like, yo, the quality of the beats, the synths and the sounds is like incredible. I really like the song Don't You Worry or Don't Worry. Like that song, yo, man. He also went back and he collaborated with people who helped him do the album So Far Gone, which for those of you that don't know, that was the mixtape that helped put him out there, that helped make him famous. You know what I mean? To where like he started working with Lil Wayne and started doing all of that stuff. So nah, man, I think there's a lot of genius and things behind the scenes. And I understand if it's not your cup of tea. But I got to say that it's trash, to say Iceman is trash, I don't think it was trash. I gotta hear the Conway one. I like Conway and I love West Side Gun. I know what's up with Griselda. I heard that there's some weird stuff going on. But yeah. With Jay-Z, they said something about Jay-Z, but you said Wayne contributed to the degradation of hip hop. Yeah, I agree with that, man. I agree with that. I've said that too. I've always said that. I've always thought that Lil Wayne is an overrated rapper. Like, since we're on the subject too, real quick, I've always said, like, when people have asked me who's my top 10 rappers, the list always changes periodically. But what I will say though is that Lil Wayne has never been in my top 10 rappers. Yo, to tell you the truth, I don't even think Lil Wayne is in my top 50. Like, I could probably think of 50 rappers. I don't know if I can name it all right now. I'm not going to name it all right now. Maybe I'll do that in another video. My top 50 rappers. But even when I think about it, I can name 50 rappers, I'm pretty sure. At least 25. At least 25. But maybe 50. Lil Wayne could possibly be in my top 50, maybe. I don't know. I have to go back and look at it. I have to go back and like really analyze my list. But I definitely would feel that I could put 50 rappers above Lil Wayne. Probably a lot of rappers that you guys never even heard of. Because there was a lot of rappers that came out in the 90s that had like major skills. Drake is the most overrated, Mr. Z says. Possibility. I think Drake could be a little overrated, but I still think that Drake is a good rapper. Drake is definitely a good rapper. And this was a video that we did earlier, and I guess I could bring it up right here. Let me put it up on the screen. Take Care. Yeah. Take Care by Drake. Do we feel that this album was not a classic? Take Care. Chef T says that Drake raps for the ladies. True, but I think Iceman, he wasn't really rapping for the ladies. But let me ask you this though, man. Take Care. Are we going to consider Take Care a classic? Like, when you said that Drake doesn't have any classics, I don't know if it's that you're not talking about songs or talking about albums, but just to make it less confusing, let's just say albums. Does Drake have a classic album? Yeah, I think Take Care is a classic. I think Take Care is a classic. Yeah, Take Care is a classic, man. He got a lot of classic songs on Take Care. Let me just make sure. Let me just look at some of them. Which album is Started from the Bottom? Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now the whole team's up in here. Which album was that on? Was that on Take Care? Oh no, that was on Nothing Was the Same. Okay, Nothing Was the Same was kind of a classic too, right? Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now the whole team's up in here. Started from the bottom, now we here. Yeah, I've been doing this since man. Wait, let's see if we can play it without the flag on YouTube real quick. Oh, they're gonna flag it. They're gonna flag it. I can't play it. We'll come back to the birth of hip hop in just a second. Yeah, Drake's a dope rapper. Drake's a dope rapper, man. There's no way that we can listen to Started from the Bottom now. Man. Yeah, like, yo, no. He was rapping on Nothing Was the Same. He was definitely rapping on that album. And I think he brought it back, in my personal opinion, with Iceman. I think that he was definitely rapping on Iceman as well. So, I don't know if I can agree with this theory of Drake not being a real rapper. I understand if he's not your type of music. I'll be honest, the albums that he dropped before Iceman, like For All the Dogs and some other stuff, I was just kind of like, like there's a couple cool tracks on the album, but whatever. I was just like, yeah, whatever. So trust me, man, I got to the point to where people were starting to tell me like, hey, are you a Drake hater? Like, you must be a Drake hater. But I was like, nah, man. I just wasn't really feeling the projects that he was dropping. Like I said, there might have been a few songs here and there that were okay. But overall, I just wasn't feeling it. But when he came back and he dropped his Iceman project, I was like, yo, okay. Now that's different. That's different. Like this right here, this project sounds dope. I like the beats. I like the production. I like the message. I like the fact that he addressed the battle, which he needed to, because let's be honest, nobody was really trying to hear a Drake project of him rapping where he was not addressing the Kendrick Lamar beef. Nobody wanted to hear that. And by the way, did y'all also hear the fact that Drake might be doing the World Cup show? Yo, what a slap in the face to Jay-Z in the Super Bowl if that's true. Because the Super Bowl's goal is obviously to be as big as the World Cup. Because those of us that know, that understand things, we understand that sports, soccer, is the biggest sport around the world. Around the world, around the world. Yeah. So it's like soccer is the biggest sport around the world. Like, I don't even think they really watch the Super Bowl like that. Like, they do, but not really. They may watch the halftime show. That's the whole reason why they put Bad Bunny on this Super Bowl show, was to appeal to the other countries in South America and Latin countries and become more known worldwide. But then you also had Drake, or shall I say, before I get to that, with Drake doing the World Cup, you also had Kendrick. who did the halftime performance before Bad Bunny, right? And not only does he do the halftime Super Bowl show, which all of us, including myself, were hyped for, but not only does he do that halftime show, he also disses Drake. So this is why Drake obviously had to take shots at Jay-Z on the new album. The jig is up. And Jay-Z, of course, addressed that in his freestyle. Which he should. Which he should have. But my point is this, though. Is that Drake getting dissed. You know, like, it's one thing to say Jay-Z says, okay, yeah, he's going to approve Kendrick to do the Super Bowl, and you're currently in a beef with Kendrick Lamar, and he's about to do the Super Bowl, and then he's also going to do the song that you're suing him over, Not Like Us. And he even mentions at the Super Bowl, which is definitely the biggest show in the country, he mentions that, oh, you're probably going to try to sue me. But whatever, I'm going to do the song anyways. Yeah, I mean, how's Drake not going to take a shot at Jay-Z over that, right? It's a little petty, but still. Of course he's going to have to take a shot at Jay-Z about that. But my biggest point on top of this is that now the fact that Drake might be doing the World Cup, man, if he does the World Cup performance, like the main performance, I guess, like if everybody's watching whatever the main part of the World Cup is that's on national television and is being filmed and shown across the world, and if Drake does that halftime show or whatever it is, or that show, yo, not only is that going to be big, that's the only way you could top the Super Bowl. Like, if you're like, what show could I do? Like, if I was in a battle with somebody and they did the Super Bowl, and you're like thinking to yourself, okay, what could I do that's bigger than that? Because that's what it's always about, right? That's how they stay on top. That's how these entertainers, that's how they thrive, right? What can I do that's bigger than that? Do the World Cup. That's the next biggest thing to do. So I think he's going right with this. I want Drake to do the World Cup. And like I said, man, I'm not even a Drake fan like that. But I kind of want to see him do the World Cup. Like, if there was going to be anybody that's going to do the World Cup, I feel like it should be him. And I want to see what he's going to do. And I think that he should do some of the Iceman songs. L to the C, you said musically there was a shift in hip-hop around 2015. Yep. But it's been stagnant lately. Oh, so when you said that there was a shift, do you mean that there was a shift for good? Like, do you mean that there was a shift, like it was going to be good? Yo, I was just listening to some music too the other day that I felt was amazing, and I was just like, man, it's crazy how none of this is in the mainstream. It's crazy, man. But yeah, here, let me play this while I go grab my thing real quick. I'm going to play the birth of hip-hop for you guys one more time.
That hip-hop became global.
Where the entire city was bankrupt. That environment kind of gave birth to hip-hop. Hip-hop is a culture based on 4 foundational elements: DJing,
birth of hip-hop,
MCing or rap, graffiti, and breakdancing.
People use the terms interchangeably, rap with hip-hop, whereas hip-hop is the bigger culture. Rap is something you do. Hip-hop is something you live.
Coming from the disco era, You know what I mean? We were inner city kids. We couldn't get into discos, so we had to recreate that disco. And that's what basically hip hop started out as, like the bastard child of disco. I mean, it was our rebellion against that and our recreation of it at the same time.
You see, I am Wonder Mike and I like to say hello.
The turntables became our instruments. Like, so a lot of people in the inner cities, they didn't have money for instruments. So you had to find those sounds somewhere. So you dug through your pop's Cradle records and you just listening for these different instruments and sounds, and then you pulled from those different sounds and made a total new creation. People forget that the DJ is the backbone of hip hop. That's where it all started. DJ spinning at parties.
Kool Herc is actually documented as the father of hip hop. When he was playing the type of music he was playing and maybe the way he was playing it, it brought out a different type of energy than ever experienced from that demographic at that time.
And he just started putting one drum break behind the next drum break, and you would just go to Herc party just waiting for those breaks.
B-boy and B-girl comes from Kool Herc. B meaning break, okay? Break boy. You dance on the break. That's it.
It all ties into dancing and really going off during the break beat of a song at a party back in the days.
And then there was different parts of the record where you could talk over it and then the beat's still going, but you don't lose the attention of the record or the main part of the record. That evolved to MCs getting on the mic and just saying things to keep the party going, which evolved into actually rhyming and rapping, because these different MCs will have little sayings that they said.
Party people, if you're ready to rock, let me hear you scream.
A teenager named Africa Bambaataa started the Zulu Nation at the Bronx River Projects. It was a new type of gang which focused in on music and dance.
Bambaataa was the first guy to say, hey, let's...
MTV made hip-hop global. It broke it out of being a niche kind of music or something like these black kids or Latin kids are doing in certain urban areas to an actual viable genre of music that reached middle America and mainstream America. Particularly Walk This Way was the record that took hip-hop next level on MTV, man. That collaboration with Run DMC and Aerosmith was just perfect. That was really the moment that hip-hop became global, and MTV played a big part in it. UK, South Africa, where, you know, English is one of their major languages. You see it in Brazil, you see it in Japan. You know, they're big into the culture, man, and you'll go to a concert in Japan, man, and they're rapping every word in English, and then they don't speak a word of English.
Hip-hop connected the world and music together. This is what the Score did. This is what Puffy did. Dr. Dre did some of this stuff too. That record I've done for Shapiro. Hello? It's hip-hop and hip-hop record together. You know what I mean?
I think institutions are trying to preserve hip-hop when you see places like art galleries. You see it in fashion. You see it in business. I think that's preserving hip-hop, even when people don't realize that's actually preserving it.
Welcome to Hush Tours, the original and the only hip-hop sightseeing tour on the planet.
Hush Tours is a hip-hop sightseeing tour based on the culture. It's guided by the pioneers of hip-hop, and we take people around the city to different places that were relevant to the development of the culture. Nashville celebrates country music. New York City needs to celebrate the birth of hip-hop.
We created something from nothing. And hip-hop was the first art form that spoke to me. People who looked like me, people I could look up to, the way they put these words together and tell these stories about places that look like where I live. And that's just like what hip-hop is all about. It's just evolving and staying ahead of the curve and being something aspirational.
Oh, so we'll go back to that in a second.
Hip-hop record together. You know what I mean?
I think institutions are trying to preserve hip-hop when you see places like art galleries. You see it in fashion. You see it in business. I think that's preserving hip-hop, even when people don't realize that's actually preserving it.
Welcome to Hush Tours, the original and the only hip-hop sightseeing tour on the planet.
Hush Tours is a hip-hop sightseeing tour based on the culture. is guided by the pioneers of hip hop, and we take people around the city to different places that were relevant to the development of the culture. Nashville celebrates country music. New York City needs to celebrate the birth of hip hop.
Wow, what a point right there. You see, that's the point that I'm making right there. She said Nashville celebrates country music, so New York City we'll come back to that in a minute. New York City needs to celebrate hip hop. I completely agree. Chef Test says hip hop changed when everyone can just upload some garbage and viral without skills. Yeah, man, straight up, man. I agree. You know, and it's funny, you're not the first person that said that because, let me adjust this real quick. I've had this conversation with some people that are in the industry, right? Let me just grab this real quick. Yeah, I've had this conversation with people that are in the industry, and they said the same thing, that when the technology changed, that's when the hip hop changed. Yeah, man. There was a couple of points that were brought up in that video where it was talking about the birth of hip hop and how hip hop has started. It was the rebellion against disco music. And not only was it the rebellion, hold on, against disco music, not only was it the rebellion against disco music, but that it was a cultural event for, they said, Black and Latino kids, right? Black and Latino kids that were in the inner cities that would do this music called hip hop. And that's just interesting to me how much hip hop has taken over. And they talked about Kool Herc. That was the other thing I wanted to speak on. You know Kool Herc, the father of hip hop. You know, the street that's in New York, that's over there like where the first hip hop party was, and they call it Hip Hop Boulevard or something. You know, after doing research, I think, I'm not sure, but I think it was supposed to be named after, you know, one of the founders of hip hop, but he wanted money for it, and they was like, nah, we just gonna name it after you. But he was like, nah, give me some money. They didn't want to give him some money, so then they just named it Hip Hop Boulevard. Your boy says I should do new school versus old school and let the people choose their song. That's a good idea. What are you suggesting? We just play the songs back and forth and let the people decide, like a battle, what they like more? But that's a good idea. That's an idea that could work. Danny says that it's good, but it just fell out. Your boy, okay. Yeah, you know what? That's like something that I could probably do on YouTube or something like that. Here, let me see if this light. Can you guys see me okay? Make sure this light's all right. And you guys see the albums back here. That light's too bright, but you guys see that albums back there? Yeah. Okay. I'll keep that in mind. Hold on. Give me a second. hip hop. That's what we're discussing. Tell me your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Tell me what y'all think. I will say this. Hip hop has definitely changed. I was just looking at some old pictures real quick. Hip hop has definitely changed from what it's been. And your boy says for me to name my top 5 albums. Well, I got pretty much most of them right here on the wall. I know it's kind of hard to see, but I got most of them right here on the wall. Hold on. Wait, I'll pull it up real quick. Jay-Z Blueprint is the album. Dr. Dre The Chronic. Nas Illmatic. There's a few others too that could be up there. Eric B and Rakim, Paid in Full. Yeah, man. I mean, that's like 4 right there. Yeah, man. I mean, I don't play when it comes to hip hop. And like the interesting thing is too, is that I think that those albums that I just mentioned have still stood the test of time. Yeah, man. They still stood the test of time. It's like a lot of y'all have even said so yourselves. You said you don't think that today's hip hop keeps up with what was going on back then. And that's one of the points that I want to make, is that I feel that the albums that I just named are still better than most of the rappers and most of the albums that are coming out today. Still better than most of that. I mean, come on, man. And let's just be honest, man. Some of these rappers, I don't even think they care. I don't even think they care, man. I don't even want to go and say any names right now. But I will say that I have watched some of these rappers. And I have listened to some of these rappers. And I have watched some of their videos. Even the ones that I did not like. I even went and watched some of their videos. And I gotta say, for the most part, I just thought trash. It's trash. A lot of it's trash. But there are a few out there every now and then where I'm like, okay, that sounds like it's dope. But you can kind of tell which ones are doing it just for the money and which ones are doing it that are for real. And the funny thing is that what's his name? I mean, I hate to even bring him up because he's such a weirdo. This dude did some weird stuff, so I don't even want to bring up his name. But there's this rapper, right? He was kind of famous at one point. I'll give you a little hint. He was down with Kanye West. All right? And he was like doing his thing. He was out there. Everybody was bumping his stuff. And I just felt like he sounded like the most commercial rapper. Like he sounded like all these other rappers that were out at the time. Mumble rappers, you know, mumble, that type of stuff, right? And then, you know, he gets dropped from the label. He doesn't put out another album. Something happens. He falls off, right? Let's just put it like that. He falls off. Now, he's trying to make a comeback. And guess what? He completely changed his style. Now he's trying to sound like a lyricist. So it's like, oh, you could have always rapped like that, but you tried to rap like an idiot on purpose. Oh, man. Yeah, man. That to me right there are the people that are in hip hop to make money. They're not real rappers. Like, yeah, I mean, you should imagine with how big rap music is today. Oh yeah, Chief T, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yep, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, man. Yeah, I don't want to say in case people are watching, but yeah, that's who I'm talking about exactly. Or one of them, Big Sean too, in some ways, but you know we'll talk about him later. But he ain't who I was talking about. Big Sean's not who I'm talking about. But yeah. But he was kind of doing something interesting too. But yes. You're absolutely right. Homeboy just changed up his whole style. Just changed up his whole entire style. And it's just like, oh, okay, man. So the whole time you were really just playing a part. That's all you was doing. It's just playing a part. And it makes you wonder. A lot of these rappers are just playing a part. You know, it's like you hear these rappers talk about how much money they got, how many women they got all this and they got all that, right? We hear that, right? And then you do your research, or you don't even have to do your research. They come out and they tell you later on. They say, oh, you know what? This is what was really going on. All this shit was really happening. And you're just like, oh, what? Like, what? What? Like, it's like with the whole Diddy thing. Like, oh, no wonder she got a record deal. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hold on. Let me see if I can find it. It's like, no wonder she got a record deal. Because that's what she was doing. She was doing the freak offs. Like, yo, you want to be on? You want to get a record deal? You want to win Grammys? You want to be famous? Guess what? You're going to have to do freak offs. Listen, it's like this picture right here with Academics and Drake. I wish I could put it up here on the TikTok, but I'll have to put it up on the other one. But it's like, yo, that's what a lot of these people had to do in order to get famous. And I don't even know if I could even talk about this on the stream, but we'll go ahead and do it anyways. Who cares? Because what else are we doing here? Yo, even if they flag it, they flag it. My point is this, is that the record industry is designed for people that want to get on, you know, like people want to be rich and famous. You know, there's a lot of people out there that want to be rich and famous, and they'll do anything to be rich and famous. And the interesting thing, if y'all really take the time to think about it, is that, for some reason, oh man, it's such an interesting thing. It's such an interesting thing. It's almost like she basically was like, I'm gonna sue you and put all this shit out there if you don't pay me some money. And he settled real quick, and he still got fucked. Yeah, you're right. We shouldn't even be talking about Diddy. We shouldn't even be talking about Diddy. But what an interesting situation. And the fact that she left the country too. She was like, yo, I'm out of here. Gabriel, you say that it's good and it hasn't fallen off. Yo, that's dope, man. I'm glad you feel that way. Can you tell us which artists are you listening to right now that you like? Please tell us the artists that you're listening to. And yeah, we have to get into the Doechii Jay-Z stuff in a minute. Like, for instance, that Doechii thinks it's dope that she just started listening to Jay-Z. How could you not know about Jay-Z before? What the heck is wrong with you? Okay, Gabriel says that he feels like hip-hop hasn't fallen off, and some of y'all have said that you felt that it has fallen off. So it'd be great if some of y'all stated your points about why it has or it has not. Like, who are the artists? Who are the artists that you're listening to that you're like, okay, yo, this artist right now just dropped like a dope ass album, or this artist right here is coming with something dope, or a rapper or a singer, or anything that has like maybe hip hop elements in it. What is really dope right now that's coming out? And that's cool, because like, I like to know. I like to listen to it. But from what I'm hearing right now, I mean, I'll say this too real quick. This is kind of what I believe Jay-Z did with the whole Roots performance. Like, I think it was like Jay-Z kind of being like, yo, I'm coming back, or not like he's coming back, but kind of more like, I've been doing this for a long time, you know, and I got skills. And if I really want to do another rap album, I mean, I can still rap. And then you got people like Doechii that says, oh, well, I never listened to Jay-Z, but now I'm going to listen to him. And his discography is dope. And it's like, wait, how is she a rapper who won a Grammy and never listened to Jay-Z? I don't get that, man. I do not get that, man. I do not understand that. Like, you're like, oh, well, she just now started listening to Jay-Z because Jay-Z did a fucking whatever it is. He did a freestyle in Philadelphia for the Roots. So now all of a sudden, Doechii says she listened to Jay-Z's discography and said, what did she say? Is this the quote? She said she's from the South and she didn't grow up on Jay-Z, but recently went through all of his discography and she was like, oh, this is stupid. Yo, are you serious? Is this can't be real. I'm reading this and I'm thinking this could be real. I'm going to go ahead and say that can't be real. But I will say this. Yeah, I'm going to say it can't be real. But I'm going to say this. If she says that she is from the South and that's her excuse for not listening to Jay-Z, no, you're just not real hip hop. And the things that you say for Doechii, whatever her name is, right? The things that she says doesn't make her look good. And it actually makes her look like an industry plant. Yeah, like she's starting to look like an industry plant.
360, one CD. What's up to Ian Kerr? Welcome home to Taj. I am a rock representer. Some of the winner that are alive. 360, one CD. What's up to Ian Kerr? Welcome home to Taj.
Yo. Imagine if the New York Knicks win before Jay-Z does the whatever, the performance at Yankee Stadium, right? Because y'all know Jay-Z's about to do a performance at Yankee Stadium, right? Imagine that. All right, let me read some of the comments. All right, yeah. Check. Let's see what you gotta say. Yo, Ricky, what's good? Hear what you gotta say. Can you hear me?
Yeah. What's up? Hey, can you give me a beat so I can flow?
Oh shit! I don't know if I really have no beats right now, but we could do that on. We'll do that on another session. How about this? Tomorrow at 12 p.m. Where you at? The East Coast or the West Coast?
Where's California?
Okay, like how about this, man? Tomorrow 12 p.m. around 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Pacific time. We'll do a freestyle session. Is that cool?
All right, yeah. Sounds like
you rhyme?
Yeah. Huh?
You rap? You're a rapper?
Yeah.
Oh man, we gotta check you out. Here, put your link in the comment section. But I always support up and coming rappers, man. So I thank you. You know what I mean?
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Hit me up. But
let's do it tomorrow. Tomorrow we're gonna do a show. Like, yeah. That's when I do the rap show. Like,
for sure.
I like that like in the morning and in the afternoon. But yeah, what's up? What's good?
Okay. I already follow you for sure. Let's do it.
Definitely, man. For sure.
All right, man.
All right, good to hear from you, man. We'll do it tomorrow. We'll do it tomorrow around 12 Pacific time. All right? All right, for sure. That's cool. We got people up in here wanting to rap. All right. I was going to put a couple more of you on here if you guys had something to say. We'll do the raps tomorrow. You know, that's more like a daytime thing. Right now in the night, like, you know, we'll do that maybe later on and stuff like that. But like right now, yeah, the nighttime is more for thinking and getting our thoughts together for the next day, right? Because we have the week coming up, and I'm thinking we have to be on our grind. We have to be on it, and that's what I'm doing right here. But yes, during the daytime tomorrow, you're right. That might be the new show. I might have to call it like afternoon raps or something like that. It's going to be the new show. But yo, that's trademark with me, beatGrade. What's good? We going to do it. Thank you for the likes coming in. I appreciate you. Marco says hip hop is okay. It has fallen off over the years through your opinion. Yes. I agree with you, fam. Hip hop has fallen off throughout the years. Hold on. Hold on, we going home. I mean, hip hop has definitely fallen off to like where it was like really real shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you really had to like rap about some real stuff. That's the only reason why Eminem is really famous. Like Eminem is really famous because he doesn't rap about being rich or having a lot of money. I mean, he might have in a couple of videos. He might have. He had to. Right? He made fun of it like with the D12. These chicks don't even know the name of my band, but they're all on me like they want to hold hands. These chicks don't even know the name of my band. Like, he was making fun of himself right there, obviously, right? These chicks don't even know the name of my band. My band. They more like pop culture, my band. Yeah, I agree with you, Marco. 100% Marco. You're definitely right, man. And that's what I'm saying. So, like, hopefully you guys are following the channel so you guys know what's up. Because I'm going to be bringing it to you guys like this every night of this week. We're going to tune in on this summer. That's my goal for this summer. This summer, I'm going to lock in. I'm going to lock in on this summer and really take over these airwaves, because I feel that we're at a point too right now. And you know what? Maybe I shouldn't say this online. I'm not going to say it online. But we're at a point, I'll just say this, where You know what I mean? The world always changes at a certain point. People don't think the world is going to change, but if you really look back at history, you'll see that there's definitely significant points where the world has changed. There's a lot of points in time where the world has changed. So I'm always open-minded to understand, to be like, okay, there's a possibility that we could do something and it could just change. Like, the world could change. Like, academics could start not telling the truth anymore, and he's just, like, paid by Drake. All right, so let's talk about this real quick. Let's talk about the Spurs. Do we think? I didn't really watch the game too much today. I was busy working and stuff like that. But I just want to ask you guys some questions for those of you that are online. Do you think that the game was fixed? That New York lost on purpose? Because if we look at the tickets, and let me see if I can find an image of it. I think I had like a picture of the Knicks tickets, and let me see if I can find it. But yo, if we look at the tickets just for now, it was like they said 10,000 to sit in the way top row. So if you have another game go, right? And you're able, okay, to have a bunch of celebrities and have a bunch of people pay tickets to get into a game. Not to mention that we're speaking about, like, you know, we're speaking like 20,000, maybe to like $50,000. I heard, maybe even more than that. Like, wasn't it like $7,000 to $10,000 to sit like in the back at the finals at Madison Square Garden? So who knows what the court side might have been? But from what I'm hearing, yeah. Yo, can y'all believe this? Now, I don't know if this is true, but and let me put it on the screen right here so you can see for yourself. Yo, it's saying right here 45,000 to 200,000. $250,000 for a seat at Madison Square Garden for the Knicks game. Braze Bridge says hip hop is gone, man. Trap, trill, shit on top. Yeah. Still? Yo, still? Trap? Drill? Trap? Cause like, isn't what's his name? Who's like head of the drill? What's his name? Lil Durk? Ain't he like in prison? And he just got another charge too? I thought that dude was like the head of the drill music. So once I heard that, I was just thinking like, oh, okay. I mean, I'll be honest. I was never really into that music anyways. I mean, you know, you can hear hip hop or different elements of hip hop and you're like, okay, yeah, let me hear what they doing over here. Oh, this is what's going on over here? Oh, okay. I don't even know if it's that particular city. It might just be that particular sound. But I'm like, okay, yo, this sounds cool. But it seemed like after what happened to homie, who was one of the main heads of that, it sounded like a lot of people stopped doing that type of music. And I never really heard from it again. Rich, you said you're older now. You say most late 30, 40-year-olds done it like hip hop in Euro days, and it's probably meant to be. Maybe so. How old are you? You might not be that old. How old are you? Because hip hop is kind of on some other shit, you know what I'm saying, right now. Hmm. 41. Yeah, you're not that old. So that means that you were born. Yeah, I already know you're born. I just wanted to make sure. You're a millennial. Yeah, you're a millennial. And that's cool. Millennials are the age that we basically influence. Like, we inspired y'all. You know what I'm saying? We inspired your generation. Because I gotta tell you, and I'll tell you this. I've already said this before, and you guys can see if you agree with me or not. So I'm glad you guys are here right now. I said this to somebody I was talking to who's a baby boomer, who's above me. But some of them are cool. Some of them aren't cool and don't understand stuff. But some of them that are closer to my age, they kind of understand. And I said the same thing. Gen Z, millennials, they learn from Gen X. Like our parents, Gen X, our parents who are considered, baby boomers, they didn't like hip hop. They were like, oh, rap music? Oh, that's not real music. Turn that shit off. Turn that SHIT off. Turn it off. That's not real music. They didn't like rap music. But the difference is, though, is that nowadays, Gen X, and then you have millennials and Gen Z, we all like hip hop. We all like rap music. And Gen X are the creators of rap music. We are the foundation of hip hop. Like, we are the reason why the mainstream is the way it is right now. Like, everything that's trending right now, everything that's cool right now is because of Gen X. Whether you like it or not. And then that's the funny part. is that some people will try to hate. Some people will try to be like, hold on, let me put it over here. All right, are we there? Yeah, 1985. That's what you said, Rich, is when you were born. That's dope. Yo, that's the year that they did in Back to the Future. Or was it 1989? I think it might have been 1985. But yo, Back to the Future, one of the greatest movies of all time. Okay. Yeah, that's a great year though. Yeah, I think that's millennial. Anybody born after 85, I think is millennial. Let me play this real quick.
Music or something like these black kids or Latin kids are doing in certain urban areas to an actual viable genre of music that reached middle America and mainstream America. MTV played a big part in it. UK, South Africa, where, you know, English is one of their major languages. You see it in middle America and mainstream America. TV played a big part in it. UK, South Africa, where, you know, English is one of their major languages.
The bastard child of disco. I mean, it was our rebellion against that and our recreation of it at the same time.
You see, I am Wonder Mike, and I like.
All right, we've already gone through the history of hip hop, right?
Different sounds and made a total new creation. People forget that the DJ is the backbone of hip hop. That's where it all started. DJ spinning at parties.
Kool Herc is actually documented as the father of hip hop. When he was playing the type of music he was playing and maybe the way he was playing it, it brought out a different type of energy than ever experienced from that demographic at that time.
And he just started putting one drum break behind the next drum break, and you would just go to Herc party just waiting for those breaks.
B-boy and B-girl comes from Kool Herc. B meaning break, okay? Break boy. You dance on the break. That's it.
It all ties into dance.
Interesting. Y'all tell me, man. That's the thing, man. Our generation, Generation X, basically created hip hop. I mean, or Kool Herc. Kool Herc is like probably a baby boomer, right? But he's a baby boomer who created hip hop. He's a baby boomer who understood technology. That's what I was thinking. Like, he took a break beat. That's the thing, man. Like, when we really go through it in hip hop and we go through it, we're like, oh, okay, that's the thing he did. He took a break beat and scratched it over another break beat and created a repetition that allowed somebody to rap over it.
And maybe the way he was playing it, it brought out a different type of energy than ever experienced from that demographic at that time.
And he just started putting one drum break behind the next drum break, and you would just go to her party just waiting for those breaks.
B-boy and B-girl comes from cool hurt. B meaning break.
One drum break behind the next.
All right, crazy.
A different type of energy. Kool Herc is actually documented as the father of hip hop. When he was playing the type of music he was playing, and maybe the way he was playing it, it brought out a different type of energy than ever.
Yo. Kool Herc could be considered like the first producer of hip hop. Because what was he doing? He was the one who said, I'm going to take a break beat and play it over and over again. I'm going to sample it and play it over and over again. Yo, man, it's pretty crazy when you think about it. And I thank you guys for the comments that are coming in. I was about to get up out of here because I was about to go do some beats on this. Yeah, I'll stay on just a little bit longer. If we get some more likes coming in, you guys tell me. But yes, I appreciate it. But yeah, man, with Kool Herc, man, he was like doing what was really real. Hold on. Hold on, we're going home. Boop, boop, boop.
Experience from that demographic at that time.
And he just started putting one drum break behind the next drum break, and you would just go to her party just waiting for those breaks.
B-boy and B-girl comes from cool hurt. B meaning break. Okay, break boy. You dance on the break. That's it.
It all ties into dancing and really going off during the break beat of a song at a party back in the days.
And then there was different parts of the record where you could talk over it and then the beat's still going, but you don't lose the attention of the record or the main part of the record. That evolved to MCs getting on the mic and just saying things to keep the party going, which evolved into actually rhyming and rapping because these different MCs will have little sayings that they said.
Party people, if you're ready to rock, let me hear you scream.
Should we play the Beat Street? Yeah. Yo. Yeah, man, that's what it really is. And I thank you guys for tuning in, man. I'm about to jump up out of here. But yes, we're going to talk about the hip hop. We're going to have more discussions about this. Is it good or has it fell off? And I appreciate some of your comments. Some of your comments actually have said that you think that hip hop has fallen off. I found that very interesting. But then there were also some of your comments that had said that you think that hip hop is good. So we have had a 50-50 crowd somewhat. And I appreciate that. So we'll probably have to do this again tomorrow, like I said, to the one homeboy, especially that wanted to rap. We'll do this tomorrow. We'll just say 3 p.m. Eastern time, 12 Pacific. And hopefully you guys can tune in. Yeah, and before I jump up out of here, I'll answer a few of your questions. Because, you know, I had the wifey that was, like, upset. She wanted to see what was up with some things. You said maybe mainstream hip-hop, but hip-hop is flourishing. Okay. Nah, I'm not denying that. Mace Boy, shout you out. Thank you for your comment. Could you please tell us what hip-hop are you talking about that's flourishing? And nobody's denying what you're saying. I'm just wondering, like, what's flourishing? You know what I mean? Because everybody has their own opinion. But as I've already mentioned earlier, from our point of view and some of the people we talked to, yeah, there's a few albums out there that are pretty banging. You know, there's some albums out there that are good. There's some hip-hop out there that's good. But then there's also some trash out there, too. So we want to make sure that y'all ain't talking about the trash. Because if y'all are, then I see the response. Thank you for your response. You said the underground scene, like the smaller artists. Okay, well, yeah. I mean, that goes with everything. The smaller artists, I just said that the other day. I was listening to some of my favorite YouTubers and people who have dope music, and I was just like, man, I'm surprised that this isn't in the mainstream. But to me, I was just thinking, like, I was like, this goes to show that all the dopest music is not in the mainstream. And it's funny, too, because this particular song has almost 1 million listens or views, whatever you want to call it. It's reached already like almost 1 million. It will reach 1 million. It's about to. It will. And it's like no major promotion, no major commercials, no major endorsements. It's just a dope ass song on YouTube that has over 1 million people that have like listened to this. And I'm just like, yo, this goes to show that some of the best music out there is not in the mainstream. Now, yes, there is some music that is good that's in the mainstream, like Sade, Michael Jackson, Prince. You know, there's a lot of others. I could go on. The list can go on. But there's a lot of people that are good that should be out there. You know, like when I hear Michael Jackson, I'm sure a lot of you guys can say this, especially some of you, hopefully, that have seen the movie by now. I'm sure a lot of you can say, oh, Michael Jackson, he was born to do this. He should be doing this. No doubt about it. Like, there's nothing else that he should be doing other than creating music. And people will pay a lot of money and big money to see him perform the music that he created. So, yeah. There's some people that are really born to do this. I can agree with that. But yes, I gotta check the underground scene and listen to a lot more people from the underground. I always appreciate it, man. Hold on. Let's play this last clip right here before we get up out of here.
And then you pull from those different sounds and made a total new creation. People forget that the DJ is the backbone of hip hop. That's where it all started. DJ.
Let me speak on that real quick. People never forgot that the DJ was the backbone of hip hop. The only people that forgot this were the people that were never really a part of hip hop. This goes back to my point. The point that I made earlier, where I said that there's a lot of people who are in this rap music who are in it just for the money. They don't really care about the culture, yo. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't care about the culture. They're just in it to get money. You know, it's like you can hear people who are these so-called journalists, right? And they'll talk about certain rappers. And at one point, they'll talk about a rapper as if, like, that's their people. That's their mans. And, you know, and then you go and you check out the music, right? And you're like, oh, that shit is trash. But you're like, yo, they told me that it was going to be dope. But then come to find out, it really was just trash, right? And then maybe, possibly later on, or most likely, shall I say, the DJ that told you to listen to that artist's music happens to have a lawsuit against him because he's selling fake properties to people. Or not even that. Not even that. That's like a whole nother thing, right? Let's just say not even that. He has a beef with the rapper all of a sudden that he used to promote and tell y'all to go listen to his music. But now all of a sudden something happened. Something happened. And now he's telling you that his music is trash. But it's like, weren't you promoting this guy's music just about a few months ago? You were promoting his music, and now all of a sudden you're saying it's trash? The funny thing is that I'm trying to say is that some of us that know real hip hop, we already knew that it was trash. We already knew a long time ago that it was trash. So it's just funny how some of these games that people play. Michael says that hip hop has fell off a long time ago, bro. OG says it's been fell off. You know, some people go back and forth and say, you know, this and that. You can get with this or you can get with that. I'm wondering, has hip hop really fallen off like that? Has it really? I mean, is it no more? Is it possible that we could, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, bring it back. Is it trying to, like, come back? Like, look at this. This is a point I could bring up right here. Isn't with the artists like Drake and Kendrick, how they're doing all their independent things now? Like some people said, even for Drake, he did the 3-album deal to, like, get out of the contract. Isn't it possible that maybe because a lot of these artists who are also some of the biggest rappers in the game right now are showing you that they rather be independent is there a possibility that maybe it's like hip hop will go back to the way that it used to be? Is what I'm saying, basically. Like when it was really about what was going on in the culture, in the streets. Because look, if hip hop goes back to being independent and they don't have record companies telling them what they can rap about and what they can't rap about, who knows what could happen. But I understand why they did that in the first place. Because, let's be honest, in order to blow up and magnify your persona, it definitely helps if you have a cosign from a major label. Like, if you don't have a cosign from a major label, you might as well just be so-and-so out there in the park doing this stuff all day, all night. And a few people might buy your CD and all that, and that's cool. They might buy some of your merch. But overall, nobody really gives a shit until Sony or Universal comes around and gives you a record deal. Yeah. All of a sudden, after you get that record deal from Universal or Sony, it's like, yo, it's on. It's on now, motherfucker. Yo, it's on. You say the rappers that were good made less money than some of the suburb rappers that we have. Yeah, I agree with you. You're right. Thank you for the likes coming in. I agree with you. The rappers now, it's almost like the NBA. Like I think at one point, I'm not sure. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter now because Jordan, like Michael Jordan, he's a billionaire now already, so it doesn't really matter. But Michael Jordan, I think when he first came into the game, I think he was getting paid like 100 or 200,000 or something like that when he was a rookie. Whereas like LeBron James, and then they were getting paid like already like millions of dollars when they came into the game. So it's kind of the same thing like hip hop. But it doesn't matter too much because Michael Jordan is a millionaire or billionaire with the B. He's a billionaire now. Which is what Drake is working towards as well. But you're right. The rappers that were good made less money. There's a lot of rappers that were really dope that I'm not sure if they really got paid what they probably should have. But there's some that are still around that came out in the golden era that are still doing their thing. There's a few. Like, we could say Snoop Dogg. I was talking about Snoop the other day. Like, yo, Snoop is still doing his thing. And he's considered a legendary rapper. So, you know what I mean? And there's a few other rappers like that too. Yes, you're right about that. Jordan definitely did work harder. Jordan definitely did work harder. That is for sure. That is for sure. That is for sure. It's all about how hard you work. That's why we're doing this show late at night right now. But I think I'm gonna come on tomorrow around 12. So hopefully, if you guys are around or after work or before work. Yo, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you got to be willing to work harder than the competition. That's why I'm doing this show right here, and that's why I appreciate you guys tuning in. I feel like I'm going to be working harder than my competition, because I know some of them could be asleep right now, which I could be too on sometimes. But I'm like, yo, sometimes I'm going to push. And I'm going to like talk about some realness. And that's what we're going to discuss on my channel. So just letting you guys know that. And I hope you guys, tune in. And I thank you for tuning in and understanding what's going on. Is that's what we talk about on this channel. We're going to talk about the realness. And we usually go on a little bit earlier. But today, we decided to go on a little bit later. And before I get up out of here, because, I was about to get up out of here. How long we've been going for? Yeah, we've almost been going for 3 hours. Almost. That's a long time. I've been on the stream for a minute. But I appreciate y'all. But I'm probably about to bounce up out of here. I've been on the stream for almost 3 hours. But I'll stay on for a little bit longer, and you guys ask me your questions. I'll take 10 more minutes of Q&A. If you guys have any questions, I have 10 more minutes of Q&A before I get out of here, but I'll answer pretty much everything that you need to know. Michael, you say kids back then looked up to that, so they turned out goated. Wait, hold on. Wait, what? Huh. Yeah, man. I mean, that was an interesting time in the NBA, if that's what you're talking about. And, we'll talk about that tomorrow. Tomorrow will be the NBA talk. Because that'll be also the day before the game, so we can, speak about it more clearly. Then tonight, I'd rather speak more about hip-hop. And that's what we're going to go into before we get up out of here is, it's going to be more about the hip-hop. What are we doing with the culture? Has it fallen off? Or is it good? That's where we're at right now. And Public Enemy #1. You're like, Chuck D. Shout out to Chuck D. Follows me on Twitter. Yo, you said it fell off. Well, with that name, Public Enemy #1, I'm assuming you're listening to Chuck D and Flavor Flav. So, of course, to you, it probably has. And, like I said, I probably should have had a poll on the next stream that I do. I'm gonna have a poll. Hold on. I mean, I was trying to do it on TikTok, but They make it hard. Here, we're gonna play something real quick.
The following program contains strong language and
Were you recently injured in a car accident? If so, you need to stop now and immediately call an experienced auto accident attorney. Look at this check for $237,000. This settlement and
We gotta go back to the Micah 9 when we're
It's evolved over the course of over.
Before I get out of here, I'm gonna play one KRS-One song before we get up out of here. Track real quick.
With the American Express Platinum Card, you can access over 35.
Because this is like a classic right here. Yeah, one of the dopest hip hop songs ever recorded.
Count the dough, kick the flow, but chill out, watching me. Whether at the bar with super.
Pretty dope. I'll speak on this real quick before we get up out of here. Yeah, man. KRS-One came through with a dope video right here. And this whole shot right here in New York. Beautiful. Beautiful and brilliant. You see, I love real hip hop like this. And this is why we can't front. Because it's real hip hop. What KRS-One did right here is real hip hop. We can't front on it. And I just wanted to speak on this real quick because, you know, he was doing the talk in the video of the documentary, as he should. And then, you know, and I don't want to go off on all this, but then it makes me wonder too. Are we really giving credit where credit is due? Of course not. Of course not. We already know that a lot of the rappers that have paved the way and have built the foundation do not get their credit as they deserve. But it's kind of understandable if you really think about it, because if you look back at history, we don't really study the people who really built what was going on here in America. I mean, a lot of this stuff that's in American culture all comes from Egypt. But they don't want to talk about that. And where does Egypt reside? In Africa. Oh, but that's a whole nother story. We could talk about that later. But I'm just saying, though. It all resides in Egypt. But yeah. We don't talk about that. We'll just talk about hip hop. The cool thing is that KRS is doing his thing, and he has been doing his thing, and he is one of, and we can't front on him.
Speed is the moat today. You gotta be nimble, gotta be quick.
See if we can play it over this. Yo, this is the point that I'm trying to make right here. Or the point that I am making right here is that hip hop was and is just so real, especially back then. Like, you actually really had to rap. Like, come on, let's be honest. We know that a lot of these rappers, like Lil Baby and these other rappers that are out here, if they were rapping at a time like this with KRS-One or, you know, Gangstar, Snoop Dogg, whoever else, man, Outkast, yo, if they were going up against this, you know damn well that they would be booed off the stage. They would be booed off the stage. We already know this, man. You actually had to have skills to rap back then. You actually like had to come with it. So it's just interesting, like a lot of people have said, with what a lot of these rappers are coming with today. I mean, the lyrics are so generic and so half-assed, and that's cool. Is that we want you to put a little bit of thought into it. You know what I mean? Like, I think you should put a little bit of thought into it. Skilla says it fell off, but it's still good. I can see that. How do you say it fell off, but it's still good? Like, how so? And not that I'm trying to challenge what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. I'm actually just curious to hear what your opinion is about how you said it's still good. What rap music do you guys think is still good? Like, I've heard a few of you guys say that. Here, I'll go ahead and read your comment. Thank you, Skilla, for your comment. You said hip-hop used to be question number one genre, and it's not anymore, so it's objective and fell off, but there are still rappers who still put bars out. Like, who are the rappers that you're talking about? That was the question that I wanted to ask you, was who are the rappers that you feel currently are putting out the bars? Because, yeah, I mean, I think that there's a few rappers that are still putting out bars, but to each their own. Everybody has their own preference. But I am curious to know what your preference is on which rappers you feel are putting out bars. I mean, some people might even say Jay-Z has come back and is putting out bars. Like what he did with that one freestyle. And I know there were some people, and I just want to say this real quick, because, like, just to go back on that, to reiterate, there were some people that said they felt like it was okay, and I see their point. But I think that Jay-Z saying what he needed to say to, like, remind y'all how long he's been in the game and how long he's been doing this, whether you agree with it or not. The fact that he felt the need to get up there and rap, because, yeah, he had to do his performance. I think he was already, I mean, who knows? But whatever. He was, or he is, and he did his performance with the Roots, right? But he also felt on top of that he needed to address what was going on with the people that were talking trash about him. So I felt like, yo, sometimes you got to let it out. And sometimes it's better to say it in a rap. Do it artistically. Do it in the music form. He could have did it like in a podcast, or did it in an interview, or did it in a, you know, whatever. But he decided to do it in a rap. That says a lot about the culture. Oh, okay. I see some of your list, Skills, or Skilla, if that's how I say your name. Hopefully I say your name correctly. Thank you for your comment. Shout you out. I see some of your lists like Kendrick, Black Thought. Yeah, J. Cole. I agree with some of those. And I'm glad that you said that, Black Thought, because we were just talking about like the roots with Jay-Z. I feel sometimes that Black Thought doesn't get enough credit that he should. Like, I really do feel that sometimes. I really do feel that Black Thought should be getting way more credit than he does. He doesn't get mentioned in the top 10 MCs enough. And it's kind of interesting. Exactly. It's kind of interesting if you think about it, because the performance that Jay-Z just did was at the Roots Picnic, which is like down with Questlove and Black Thought and all them. Now, I don't know if Black Thought rapped at the Roots Picnic. I would assume that he did, but I didn't see any footage of it yet. So if you guys see any footage of it, maybe you could send it through. But yeah, that's pretty dope that Jay-Z rapped with the Roots band that night too, if you do your research. But that Roots band is also part of Questlove and Black Thought, who I agree, I definitely think is one of the best rappers of all time. Black Thought should definitely be brought up in the top 10. When we start having these top 10 discussions of who are the top 10 best rappers of all time. Yeah, man. I thank you guys so much, man, for you guys tuning in. Hey, are you guys going to be around tomorrow? 3 p.m. Eastern? We'll probably be back on 3 p.m. Eastern. That's Eastern time, 3 p.m. New York time. I appreciate you guys for tuning in, because I'm gonna listen to a couple of the people that jumped on today that want to rap, and I think maybe like during the day I'll start doing like a radio show where we'll take calls if we can. May not be able to do it every day, but I think I could do it tomorrow. We'll start taking calls from people that want to rap. So yeah, let me know in the chat right now if you guys will be able to be over tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern time. That'd be dope. Because, yeah, I thank you guys, man, for tuning in and for saying what's up. But unfortunately, we got to go take care of some other things right now. We got to bounce. But we're going to speak on this hip-hop tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure y'all tune in, okay?